Hey everyone, it's Egwin from Scope of Life and Beyond Systems, today with another update in the Developmental Movement series. Now the whole point of this series is literally to train movement from the very foundation up. The very foundation of movement are the most fundamental, coordinative and strengthening movement patterns that we as humans in our human form learn as a baby. The fun thing is we learn them on our own if we are led, because no one normally shows a baby how to do those patterns, but they are extremely important to really develop movement the way it's supposed to be developed without jumping the gun. And that's very important because once this foundation is solidified, or in this case remembered and re-triggered, this has positive effects on posture and natural movement patterns for your whole life, no matter what age you are. And this is what we're doing in this developmental movement series. If you haven't watched the prior videos, jump to my channel and check them out. There's a link below where you can jump to the first video of this series, or at the end of this video, I'll link the other videos. So right now, let's jump in the next progression and see how it goes. All right. Once again, we start on our backs. In this time, it doesn't really matter how we turn to the side. You can use all the methods that we learned so far. So you can either use this leading with the leg, you can, on the other hand, use this rolling with the eyes in order to roll over. You can even, if you want to, you can even use this polarity aspect that we worked with in the first progression. It doesn't really matter. What's important is that somehow from here you land on your belly. Now the next thing that we're doing is from here, this time we start to lift ourselves. So we are going to use a little bit more our shoulders and also our legs. So the first thing that we're trying from here is literally to bring the second leg somehow under our body and then pulling the other as well. At the beginning, do this one leg after the other before you try to do both at the same time. This exercise already is something that in the way you do it will have to do a lot with your current mobility status. Why? Because depending on your ability to open your hips and the coordinational strength in your spine, in your lumbar spine, your pelvic ring and your hip flexor, those are the most important factors that influence this movement. So I can show you different patterns here. I can talk to you a lot about pulling one leg first and try to roll on top of it and pulling the other, or from here you just simply try to literally bring one leg in after the other, or you can even try to come in with both at the same time and so on. But a lot of those patterns, whether or not you can do them right now, will depend on how your hip strength and mobility is, and also how much you need to protect your knees. In this case, I'm doing it here on a rather hard floor, obviously wood floor. When you do this exercise and you get troubles with your knee, make sure to cushion your knees somehow. Put a towel underneath that you wrap a couple of times or something like that. Just make sure to protect your knees. As adults, this is something we sometimes have to do, especially when we don't use our joints, or we haven't used our joints for a long time. This is different for children, but right now, for adults, it's really important to protect the knee joints. So when you do this exercise and you feel it's too painful, or somehow you literally get troubles and swollen knees or something like that, don't go there. Really make sure to protect them. Use towels that you put underneath, or even knee protectors from skating or whatever. Just make sure that you're safe there. What is this exercise about? This exercise is literally about trying to find different ways to get from a completely belly flat position into a pelvis lifted position. And as you've seen before, my arms didn't do that much. So obviously, one could do this whole exercise with pushing up on the arms first and then having much more space to pull in the legs. But this is something I'd rather not do at the moment. So make sure that your arms rest on the ground with your forearms touching the ground, and then try to find ways to literally bring up your pelvis first, but your shoulder girdle and your torso, they are still rather angled downwards. So this is really, at the moment, we are still working in the pelvic ring area, in the lumbar stability area, and really this is the only very important thing to say about this exercise. There are many ways to bring the legs in. This is for you to explore. I showed a couple of different possible ways already, but really make sure to leave your upper body rather closer to the ground instead of lifting it right from the beginning. That's the only thing that's really important here. So even if you're in this position, don't come up with your torso, bringing the legs first, one leg, the other leg, or even like that, or like that. Really play here and find ways to bring your legs underneath your pelvis. Your arms are still resting on the ground, and then you try to just simply lift your pelvis even higher. Your arms do a little bit of work here, obviously, but not that much. And from this position, just simply find a way to float back onto the ground. This is important. Flow back onto the ground. Once again, I'm showing you this from a different angle. Let's see if this angle works. All right. So from here, I'm just trying to bring my legs in, then lift the pelvis even higher, and then play with different options of how to, like in this case, I just simply let my pelvis drop to the left side, or you can have it drop to the right side, or from this position you can open the knees and flow back down, or from this position you can straighten one leg and come back down. Just play with the change of height of your pelvis while lying on the ground on your belly. After that, roll back to your back. So the whole exercise would literally be from this position, you turn over. I'm going to do it to the other side. So from this position, whatever method you use, you come onto your belly, you bring your legs underneath your pelvis, you play a little bit with your pelvis up, and then you find ways to come back onto your belly, and then you roll back onto your back. And then you do the whole thing on the other side, and so on and so on. So this is literally more a playful approach to finding options. But in playfulness, you'll learn what you can and can't do at the moment, and through trying out different patterns, your body is quite likely to be trained in a way that it normally would never be trained on a regular day. And this training is both a coordinational and a strength training that helps you to stabilize your pelvis, stabilize the spine, and again, as I always say, stabilization has nothing to do with stiffness. Stabilization simply means that you have flexibility and mobility and movement, and that joints are protected. But this doesn't mean you're stiff. You still can flow completely. Your hip joints can be completely open. So this is stability. The joints are protected, but you're still completely flexible and have the possibility to use great strength if necessary. But if not, you can walk with ease because the muscles know exactly how strong each muscle group is and how they should work together in order to perform a certain task. Alright, if you have any questions, which I can easily imagine, especially in this exercise, please leave them in the comment box below. Also, if you have any observations, any feedback, please let me know either in the comments below, or if it's more personal, you can also use the contact form on my website. And see you around soon. Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you want to stay up to date to more of those exercises and the next progressions that literally take us to sitting positions, to crawling positions, to standing positions, walking, and so on. Alright, have a wonderful time. See you around. Thanks for watching. Bye.